the is it Kernow Classic, or how do you pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, Kernow. It's Kernow. It's like the
Kernow.
local ancient name for Cornwall,
All right.
the
Ah, all
Celtic
right.
name for Cornwall.
This is Up on Foil, the podcast for everyone flying just above the surface. Pump, carve, soar, let's foil!
Well, then let's just start. This is episode 57 of Up on Foil, the podcast where we talk all about foiling. And as I said, I introduce me and the guest usually for people who've never listened to the show. I'm Matt, starting mostly a little parawinging, but really on a very low level. You're Chris Burke. You've been into water sports for a long, long time, owner of Poseidon Watersports, and you've just finished that Kernow Classic, that foil event, and we're going to talk all about you and all about that. And thank you so much for taking your time, man. That's so cool.
Thanks for having me on, Matt. It was an honor when you reached out. Of course, we'll catch up. It's cool.
That is amazing. And
Cheers.
cheers, man. I just opened one myself. What are you drinking?
It was the only cold one in the supermarket. My very first time having it. I'm not a big fan, I'll be honest.
All right, let's see what
But it's
happens.
beer and it's cold.
I have one from vacation, so it was better on
Cool.
vacation. That's usually how it is when you're at the beach, at the ocean. It always tastes better than back at home, but that's what it is. Chris, man, if you see me wobbling around, I'm standing on a balance board. That's usually what I do. I'm not dizzy yet, so don't worry about that.
All good, all good. I'm in a strange setting as well. We're midway through a house renovation at the moment, and my kids are asleep in the caravan. That wasn't an option, and my other half is using our like lounge office that we've got set up because she's editing the event. So I'm in the house in project at the moment. Hence the echo.
That doesn't matter. I think Riverside can help us out with that as well. So you just finished that event. It sounds like it's a family event, family
Yeah, like the
organization.
whole vibe is bring people together. I want to like push the sport, of course, and give people a platform to elevate themselves. But like I always, when I put on an event, try and cover for everyone and bring. I think there's something really cool about bringing the top together with the bottom and giving a platform where it doesn't matter who you are, you've got the same passion. So let's just buzz together off that.
That is great. Was that the third edition?
It was, yeah, third edition this year. So it was kind of a concept first year we started it. Like I thought you came up with the idea, bounced off some buddies. We thought it would be cool. We kind of got lucky and got really good conditions and there was so much magic to it. We're like, there's legs in this. Let's keep it going. And third year felt even more magic. It was super cool.
So nice. So for people who are not familiar with the event, can you maybe just give us an overview?
Yeah, it's a surf style foiling event. So two main disciplines, we've got wing and prone, that we then split into amateur, elite, and women's divisions. We've followed for the last 2 years, we've had permission to use one spot because, when you're running an event, insurance, liabilities, permissions, they all come hand in hand.
Yeah.
And foiling's pretty new, and you talk to people about sharpened blades and surf lines. They get sketchy. So ultimately, managed to get permission to use a spot, which is the dream foiling wave, but it requires a pretty fickle forecast. And so we managed to get a couple of years under our belt. Insurance is now a lot happier. It enabled me to go to, they're cool with it, and then I was able to go to other bodies now to be able to say, look, we've done this a couple of years. We've got no problems. Will you start to let us do it on your patch? And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of time and conversations and schmoozing. But this year's event, we basically got permission to use a bunch of different locations so that we could condense it into a really short holding period because we kind of knew we could move around and then make it like a little mini festival for a few days.
Was that like 3-4 days that you had people over?
We had it was 5 days, Wednesday till Sunday. But we scored absolute gold for the day 1, 2, and 3. It was amazing.
So nice. So on one hand, you need wind for the wingers, but then for the prone, you don't really want wind. Is that a problem sometimes?
Oh yeah, of course. Like British weather, it's like all of Europe. It changes all of the time, right? The good thing with Britain is because the weather changes all of the time. Every day is a different day. if you've got enough locations under your belt, a lot of our coastline here in Cornwall is very high cliffs.
Yeah.
So if you can maneuver around, you can find shelter or exposed spots, depending what you're looking for.
That is nice.
But we
How
got
many?
so lucky. I was going to say, like, literally our first day, we had like pumping surf, zero wind, like light offshore breezes. Next 2 days, like 20 knots of wind, 15, 20 knots
Wow.
with the same pumping surf pushing in. It was so good.
That sounds really like the perfect wind and weather. But if you need to like change location, how many competitors were there? Do you have like tents and vans that you have to move? How does that organization go?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole idea was because, like, your home spot, right? Everyone knows their home spot, and I knew that we there was a high likelihood we were going to have to move. So the whole concept of the event was that it was mobile. So our infrastructure was all set up that it could just be picked up and moved to different spots. So we didn't have like event gazebos, that's event tents. It was more like pop-up gazebos. We invited sponsors and brands to come along who they could set up a demo zone so people could try stuff. And then ultimately a judges zone where they could set up and we could pick it up and move to a different spot and set it up with the event crew. We could set up everything we needed within about an hour and a half. So we just moved to the right spot, pop up, we've landed, call the compound, and off we go.
That's a nice. And then you have like a WhatsApp group or something to inform everyone, or was there a blackboard or someone with a megaphone walking around and telling people where to go?
Kind of all that. Like, communication is key when you're running an event, right?
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know where to be, what's going on, what's next, and whether that's the event crew or whether it's the riders. So we pre-signed up, everybody signed up, they added a mailing list so that I was able to, give the important information before the carnage of an event starts. And then we switched into WhatsApp so that we could give kind of updates and then had briefings at key moments to give that key information.
And you are the main guy. You are the organizer, or were you just part of the staff?
It's on my shoulders. Yeah, it comes from me. Yeah, I make the decisions. Yeah, put it together. But I think the event now is at the point where, we're a team. I'm the head of the team, but ultimately the event wouldn't happen if it wasn't for everyone that was a member of that team. And we had some incredible characters that stepped up and just helped make this whole thing flow. There's frothing foilers who are just buzzing for it, who are willing to make it happen, bring people together and put on a comp.
I feel like the foiling community is still at an early stage where everyone is helping each other. I'm not sure if that will change eventually, but for now, everyone's like helping each other. I think that's really cool. How stressful were the days before the event for you? Usually when an event like that happens, everything comes together, you can't sleep and whatnot. And then a couple of days after the event, you get sick because there was so much pressure on. How was that for you, man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Like, anybody that runs events knows that there's that stress, like, on the lead up to it. But I think as well, when you run enough events, you kind of know to work ahead of yourself, give yourself room for error, make sure the key components have backups, and as when you've done enough events and you know what you're doing, the things you can screw up on and then the things you really can't screw up on. And you just be prepared. Preparation, right, is everything.
And you said that.
And afterwards,
Go ahead.
like, we're still in the carnage. Like, we've come off the event, super cool, but still sifting through media, trying to like get everyone the media out, get all the information out.
So that's also super important then to get the images in, to have. You didn't have a live stream, but there was always a little something showing, which was super nice for us outstanders. How did the competition itself go? You said that you had pros there, but everyone was there to just enjoy themselves. How did it go? Is there a ranking? And maybe you can tell us about that.
Yeah, we had, say, like, elite, amateurs, and women's. All in all, it was about just over 140 people sign up to be involved.
Oh, nice.
So it's cool turnout. I think competitors, there was 65 competitors. The rest were people that signed up that just wanted to come and get involved, spectate, go for a ride, demo some kit. So it's a big crew of people. And like, my whole vibe with the event is bring people together and have a good time. So the pro comp, we basically bounced in the heat ladders between the AMs and the pros and the women, so that they kind of moved up and they were in a mixing pot on the beach. of ending up helping each other, chatting to each other, buzzing with each other as the AMs and the elite were kind of moving up the ladder, coming to the finals together. And to me, that's super important because you kind of, you don't want to create that division. It's all about bringing people together. And it was super cool to see that, like, the AMs with the elite just bouncing off each other was a cool vibe.
Very nice, very nice. So who won?
Who won?
Yeah.
In the pro, local boy Tom Earl. So he was first position. And Luke, who flew in from Australia, he was second position,
Wow.
which was super cool. And then another local guy, Will Haslam, UK guy, got third position in the pro. In the wing, Guy Bridge got first and Leon Shield got second.
Very nice.
It was super cool.
Very nice. And
I'm sorry, and Andy Holder got third position. It was another local guy.
that is so cool. But the guy flew over for your event from Australia.
Yeah, yeah. It
Wow.
was, stoked to have him here, and he made a lasting impression. He brought good energy, Luke.
Very nice. That is really something, because I was thinking about joining, but I was with my family in the south, which was also nice. I was thinking about coming over, but maybe for next year. Not that good though, but if you say it's also for amateurs or intermediates who just have a good time, then it sounds like something I could join as well. There probably was like a fee that you had to pay to join. I saw there was some prizes and the pub session and whatnot. What was the vibe on the beach? And then in the evening, were there like some different events also in the evening?
Yeah. I mean, like, it goes hand in hand with what the event's trying to be. Is I want it to be all about bringing people together and just pushing the energy of foiling forwards. So, like, all levels were welcome, and we had the competition zone set up. But then next door was encouraging people to go free ride. So all the brands which supported were there with their latest kit, so you could take some new kit and try it out. And we had a zone competition area. The boys didn't turn up on time, so it wasn't a zoned as clear as I'd like, but logistics is what it is. But it was encouraging free riding next door, and guys, maybe the conditions were a little bit too hardcore where the comp was. The good thing is 2 miles up the road, there's a more mellow spot. So it was encouraging, that. And then every evening of the event, we put together a social so that whatever you did, whether it was competing free riding or disappeared to a different spot, it was pulling people together in the evening to trade stories and just have good times.
So it's not just a day thing; it's also an evening and night thing. That Kernow Classic.
It's all about that, yeah. And I want to keep it as a free to attend event. Of course, competitors, we've got things which we need to run, so there was an entrance fee, but for free riders there was nothing. It's totally free to come and get involved.
All right. And for you, is it also like part of your job for Poseidon Watersports? Was that like in that kind of area that you wanted to go and grow the sports also for your business?
I mean, I think it's more of a passion project than anything else. Like, yes, my business is I do training and I'm a retail shop. Any kind of exposure that my business gets is good. It's marketing. So for me
Sure.
to be running an event sticks my head up and people notice. But if anything, my business takes a hit because, I have to ignore the phone for the weeks before, almost I become really bad as a shop because people want answers and, I'm like, I've got to focus on this event.
Yeah.
So my business definitely takes a bit of a hit, and it's more of a passion project that I love foiling. People love foiling. I've got a bit of experience with putting on events and around events. So I guess I've got the skill set that I kind of can do it. And I've got the freedom with my business that I'm able to do it. So someone's got to do it. So I'm happy to be that guy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that first. And we're gonna come to you and your story maybe in a second part. But maybe you can also share like some highlights of that event. What were your personal highlights of these last couple of days?
The energy more than anything. Like, you bring a bunch of foilers together. And I think maybe because we're still in the infancy of a sport, or just the nature of the sport is that just there was such an infectious positivity on the beach. Everybody was supporting everyone. No one had a bad word to say. Of course, it's an event, there's glitches, but everyone was super cool about it and so supportive of the scene. And that was cool. That's a standout.
All right. Very nice.
That was cool to see the riding level. Like just a year, we can measure it by our event, like last year to this year, and how it's just elevated so massive. The AMs and the pros have just gone through the roof. It's really cool. I know that I got to compete, which is cool. I mean, I've
Oh,
always
really?
wanted to get involved, but I managed to, the moment presented itself that, everything was good. The beach team were totally in control. So I snuck out and did some heats. So that
Did
was
you
for
do
sure a
the
highlight.
wing foiling or prone?
Wing foiling.
How did it go?
I'd have done both. But prone, there wasn't the opportunity. Wing was good. Liam beat me in my first heat. And then I won my second heat, which was against Guy actually, who won the event. So I'll
Oh,
take
wow.
that.
Very nice, very nice. So, you and Liam, also Freddie and Chris, are you Chris actually in
Rich. I'm Chris.
the
Yeah, you Rich.
yeah?
Rich is the other
Sorry,
Wangler.
Rich. Yeah, sorry. Are you also in the Wang Lords group? Have you also been in that hot tub with the generic guys?
Am I for
With
my
the
sins? Yeah, yeah,
Liam and
yeah.
Freddie?
I'm there at the Christmas.
All right,
Yeah,
very
we're
cool.
buddies. We have a really good time, like, us guys, and
It really
like
sounds
we've all got
like
the
it.
same energy.
So, are you gonna
It's
hear
cool.
from Liam now all year that he beat you?
Nah, I think both of us entered the competition just for fun. Like neither of us cared whether we won or lost. It was just to be involved. It was just cool to go out there. And I think both of our heats, yeah, especially my second one, we've been and cheering and calling each other on and chatting about our waves on the way out. It's the vibe more than the result.
Very nice, very nice. Um, yeah, so yeah, I wanted to talk about Rich as well because you do reviews with Rich, or you used to do reviews with Rich, and that's also part of your YouTube appearance. You have that weekly wash, which is monthly, I think, or more or less. Probably
As I
depends
get
on.
time, like it's been a busy year. Like me and Rich always try and do more. Every time we get together, we're like, like shit, we must do some more. We both enjoy doing it. The magazine wants us to do it. It's my marketing, my business is the weekly wash. But we've both had busy years. Like he injured his back, I injured my knee. I've been building a house. We both got businesses and families, events, and like if we could, we'd do it all the time, but you got to balance, right?
Yeah, I really enjoy these episodes. Really cool. Did you guys know each other even before foiling, or did that kind of group thing start once foiling appeared?
All of our paths have crossed. Like we all did water sports all along, and we all knew each other. We all got along, and we'd when we bumped into each other, we'd have a beer and we'd have a good time and have a piss up, and it was cool. But I guess our paths have converged with foiling, and we're all in a place in our life now where we're in a similar place, and we've just found a connection a lot more through it.
Very it's really because we can all feel that we who listen and watch, we can feel that it's really a cool group. And when I listen to Liam and Freddie's podcast and also these special episodes in the hot pot, you can really feel the vibe and that you guys get along well, and that's also super cool to just listen. So thank you for that. I'm super interested.
We say all the time, like we actually try and catch up a lot more, and it just is that we're busy with life and family and that
Sure.
that quite often we just end up catching up for those episodes, and we constantly say afterwards like we must get together for more beers and more sessions, but it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, what you gonna do? At least with these episodes, you take your time for just that and not just like passing by for a quick chat. So that's really cool.
But there's nothing like a session with your mates that's better than anything, right?
How often you get on the water yourself? Because I've seen that not only do you have that shop, you also give classes, or you just organize the classes. Are you teacher as well, or just organizing these?
I've taught kind of my whole life pretty much, and I do the teaching. I Yeah, I mean, I teach a lot. I enjoy teaching. I get kind of as much as a buzz from watching people progress as anything. It's really cool when you see someone make those big steps and those hurdles. So I enjoy it. I enjoy being the person that helps them. My business changed quite a lot a couple of years ago. So I went from having quite a big school, kite surfing focus, further in one of the biggest cities in the UK. And I guess a few years ago, made a bit of a family decision that we wanted to move to somewhere that was more orientated around our lifestyle and somewhere we could bring up the children better. And so we moved to the west, to the countryside, which we've never looked back as a family, the best thing we ever did. But it meant along the way, you know, the business model has changed a lot. And rather than being a big school, now it's me teaching with a shop which is primarily just led by me and my partner. So I guess we scaled right down into a much more passionate kind of personal business rather than lots of instructors doing lots of things. And I enjoy it because it gives me a lot more freedom to live the life that I want to live and the time to do things like catch up with the boys and put on events. Whereas if you've got a machine that's working all of the time, I'd never have had a chance to do that.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
Two.
Two, and how old are they? Are they on the water as well?
4 and 7.
Alright.
So they're pretty young. Yeah, they love to get on the water. My boy this year, he said he wants to start surf club every Thursday with me taking him out.
Nice.
He said at the end of the year it's getting cold now, but yeah, they buzz on it.
Oh, that is so nice. So, because I was just when I was in Italy with my family for the first time, my daughter, she's 6 now, and she wanted to come out with me on the foil drive. So I took her on the back and went on foil and tried to just cruise around with foil drive. It was so fun.
Oh, cool.
So being out with the kids is really. I always hope that they would want to go out and not like start hockey or something like that. So it's cool that they're
She
getting
want
into
more?
water. Sorry?
She want more? She wants to go back out?
Yeah, she was happy. She was happy. The only problem is it just works with. I did some wing foiling with her in front on the board, but that was just in summer. Now it's too cold for her, and the foil drive is not allowed in Switzerland, so I can only do that on vacation. But yeah, she enjoyed it, and now I have
That's
some
cool.
little videos of her, and she enjoys watching herself. So that's also kind of an incentive to go back out on the water.
It's a good age, yeah, 6. That all of a sudden they start to discover life. Is a lot more exciting.
It is super cool. She's the youngest, so she always has this baby bonus and goes back into that baby mode. But usually it's yeah, she's getting ready for real sports. That's so cool.
Oh, that's cool. Well done.
I was just asking because when I think about having a shop like you have, I think it's super difficult because there's always new stuff coming out. If you have some things on stock, it's old already. How do you manage that?
It's difficult, right? You're trying to keep up and trying to have the right stuff. I think, I mean, every country's different. Every shop is different. I don't hold a huge amount of stock unless I've really got confidence that it's something which is going to shift. And, you know, I like to be a shop that's kind of got my finger on the pulse and able to offer advice and knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I've got a really good relationship with distributors in the UK that are able to support me and get gear, you know, very quickly, next day delivery. And I guess like to be someone that understands the kit and is a point of resource means they give me a little bit more flexibility in how much stock I hold. And, you know, and then the customer as well, hopefully they feel that because I'm able to give some advice that's maybe a bit more valuable, they might forgive that I don't have it on the shelf. And, you know, and together with that, I try and be a shop that's much more honest rather than pushing somebody down a path of something that's just on the shelf stuck.
So what's hot at the moment?
What's hot at the moment? I mean, something new is always hot. It's foiling. The latest thing is always happening, right? I mean,
So
power wings, right? It's the year of the power wing. You know, the latest, whatever the latest is. I mean, F1, if you can get a frigate, you know, you're doing well. Pocket rockets are still really hot.
yeah.
Armstrong seems to always have kit that you can't, stuff that's out that people want that you can't get hold of. You know, that's Armstrong generally.
Oh, really? Have you tried?
Uh,
Because you did this event also with Josh and the Code guys. Have you tried the new the X, or what is it called?
Yeah. Yeah, super cool. It's really good. I mean, what's really cool now is that it felt like, I think surf foils almost felt like they were sort of plateauing and becoming a little bit samey for a while. Maybe because brands were focusing on efficiency and the downwind race kind of scene. And now all of a sudden, a couple of new surf wings have hit the market, like the X and like the new MA, and it's just elevated again. And it's so cool. Like the X it's so loose, it's so forgiving. but it's also so easy to pump it. It's super cool. It's a good
So,
time.
all right, all right. So, what are you riding? What's your favorite so far?
I try and mix it up, to be honest. I see it as my job for both the magazine and for the shop to kind of not get too locked into a brand. I find if you spend your whole time on one brand, it biases everything else.
Hmm.
Whereas if you constantly change and don't get too locked in, you get better because your adaptation levels speed up. And then, every time you try something new, you're not comparing it to one thing. You're looking at it as a whole in the market. So I guess therefore, like I do have my favorites, but my favorites, I'm super fussy. I'm a nightmare, because I've got a bunch of brands on tap or my demo fleet. Depending on the session and the conditions, I'd bounce between the Army MA or the HA or the Codex. I like the R for downwind power winging. Axis is super efficient with their stuff. The top end of F1, if it's really punching, I'd switch to the skate. So I'm super fussy. I'll choose whatever's best for the moment.
Very nice, very nice. If you can choose the condition and the sport, talking foiling sports, what are you gonna do tomorrow? Day off, for example.
Do you know what? As a guy, I don't know about you, but I spent my whole kind of 15 years of my youth chasing like park and freestyle kiting. And it's kind of all that mattered to me was the latest move and pushing myself. And I was blinkered. And nowadays, variety, man. I really like every day being a different day. And so I'd struggle to pick one because, I genuinely this year I've probably split thirds between prone wing and power wing, has taken a third each on, and
Oh,
toe
really?
slots in very well. So probably like quarter. And it's kind of an even spread because like there's the conditions here change a lot. And then my tastes, I love that bouncing around.
Very nice.
And I could scream and shout about the positives of each of them. I guess if I could choose one, I guess prone because it's the most technical. And so therefore, personally, I find it the most rewarding, and the most freedom because you've put yourself there, you've used your fitness and your technique to get yourself back out, and there's something sociable about it and then the reward of a totally unhindered ride back in.
But is there, because when I wing or when I used to wing, I don't wing that much anymore. Um, I sometimes, and we don't have waves here usually, so it's just like cruising around. Sometimes it got a little bit not boring, but you get used to it. And with a pair wing, for example, now in comparison, there's always something. It's not as stable, as comfortable. It's a little more difficult, which is exciting for me. Is it with proning even harder? Because sometimes you just probably miss the wave, or maybe you don't anymore. But then you feel like
Yeah,
you
I think
still
it's a
have to
different
work for
sport.
it.
Like, yeah, I mean, you need the conditions for prone. You need the waves to be pushing to have a takeoff. And it's a different thing. Like, I guess it's if the conditions aren't right, it's the same as if you try and go powering and the conditions aren't right. You just can't do the sport. But if the conditions are right, then they both have merits. Like in that sensation which you've found when you transition from winging into power winging, where all of a sudden you don't have kit in your hands and you can initiate your turn using your shoulders and your hips, and you've got a lot more freedom and you can swing your arms and you can use your whole body rather than just your lower half. That's how prone feels, but on a smaller board. And there's something quite special about it, I think.
That's so nice because I haven't
But
I
then at the
haven't
same time,
winged in a
power
while
wing,
now.
like power wing's got that. And the journey element of power winging is super cool. Like when you set off, as like you set off and you do a point A to point B adventure, you get to the end of it, and that's a buzz. That's cool.
That is true. And the problem now, because I right now I'm like comparing different pump foils, like long distance pump foils. I have 5 different brands so far, and tomorrow and the day after should be 2 more. Like the new Fireball from Axis, I'm gonna test on Friday. But on Friday there's wind as well. But as I have this long distance pump foil just on Friday, I kind of need to go on a lake where there's no wind, which is terrible. But
Yeah, yeah. Good for a
the
downwind run. You could pump downwind pretty easy.
yeah, but with the what's the span like 50? What is it? The new
I was holding one just the other day. Wow, that thing big.
Right?
That you need some space in the van for that.
Yeah, that's terrible. I wanted to go for a quick pump, and then I thought, all right, I'm gonna start comparing the foils that I have. And it was like 4 different long distance foils, including the beta foil with 2 meters, 10 centimeters of span, and the car was full with just. I wanted to go pump foiling, so that's really something. I'm gonna go back there.
That's a
Do
big
you?
thing over there. Yeah, you guys do a lot of pump foiling in the lakes.
Yeah, because we don't have those waves. I would love to try prone surfing, prone foiling, but there's just no way here in Switzerland. Like the closest you can get is actually dock start in a harbor and then getting out in the waves and then surf the waves maybe. But
Cool,
if you fall,
cool.
it's a long swim usually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everywhere's got a thing. Then it's cool to see that foiling has got such a following there. And
That
even
is
though you don't have the waves, that's kind of like a staple here. It's cool that it's still found its place.
Yeah, we don't have breaking waves, but like on Lake Neuchâtel, which is one of the closer lakes, it's over 40 kilometers long, and there people are going with the paddle now with a paddling the whole 40 kilometers down, and when they're at the end of the lake, they just get in the train and get back up, which is
Oh,
super
cool.
cool. Yeah, the
Easy
shoveling
logistics.
it is really, and then you're in with the wetsuit. Everything is wet, and people are going to work with their suits. It's the contrast is really amazing. That is
Try that with your 1750 fireball.
yeah yeah, not so much. Do you paddle, Chris?
I don't. I started the journey and I just didn't carry it on, to be honest. I kind of got to the point where I was starting to get up and I don't know, like where we live, it's pretty technical downwinding. And so it's pretty tough to learn. And just with the juggle of the balance of everything, I kind of hit the realization that I'd need to go to different locations to up my skills to get to the point I could do it at my home patch. I just didn't have the time to do the drive to the other spot to then figure the logistics and learn the skills. And now, fast forward a year and a half on, Parawings are out, and I kind of feel like it's not that I don't want to, it's that I just kind of don't need to dedicate that time because
Yeah,
this other option has come out.
but it would be still something difficult that people should or can actually learn and can invest time because paddling is so easy compared to the paddle, and I still haven't given up so far on the paddling.
I see like the Parawing is quite a good gateway into it because, you know, there's that thing when you're learning to paddle up that you're then still going to have to paddle up and then learn to read the bumps.
Yeah.
And at least with the Parawing, if you've fully dialed in bump reading, then you've got the chore of getting up. But once you are up, you're then confident that you can stay up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I,
So
I,
maybe.
I mean, I'd love to learn to paddle up, and you know, if I go away somewhere where the conditions are good, for sure I'll attack it. But it's like all of us, right? The juggle of life and how much time you put into
Yeah,
the.
and also money. I mean, the next episode's probably gonna be with James Casey, and he just came back from this retreat in Fiji where he like subfoiled with some people. And I mean, how much does that cost? That's crazy.
Yeah. But he James has found his path, right? It's cool. It's cool that he's doing it, and it's cool that people, you know, which can afford to do it, are doing it. You know, it's
Yeah,
cool.
definitely, definitely. Listen, I've never been to England before. I've been in Scotland, but not really on the water. If I were to visit the UK, where are the best spots to go foiling and what sport? Does that depend on the weather? Could be good everywhere,
Yes,
or
it's
how does that
British
look?
weather. It's always different, and it depends what you want. I mean, as you go round our coastline, you know, you turn from sand dunes to steep shingle beaches to muddy flats to, you know, to cliffs. Every corner of our country is different depending on what you want. You know, you'll find it around the whole coastline. I love where I live, which is Cornwall. So I think it is one of the more beautiful ends of the country. It's onto the Atlantic. It's clean water. It's blue water. We've always got energy coming off the ocean here. The coastline is rugged and you can always find shelter or exposed spots kind of within 20 minutes. It's cool.
Very nice.
But, but it is sticking out into the ocean and it's not easy. It's technical. It's tough. It's, you know, it's hardcore. Whereas if you go along the English Channel, there's more spots where it's brown water. It's not so clean. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's civilized. but it's a lot more mellow and you can go out any state at a tide and the conditions are never too rough. So it would almost make sense if you're coming over and if you're not used to waves, trace the South Coast and it will progressively get more and more hardcore as you come to the good spot at the end.
All right, very nice. And there are a little further west. There are these Isles of Scilly. Are they called?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, is there? Because I heard, I'm not sure if that's true, that there's like the climate is very Mediterranean. It's very warm there. Have you been
Yeah.
there? Is that something that one could foil as well?
Yeah, there's a guy down here called Glenn, a bit of a local legend, a waterman, and he's desperate to do a downwind from the Scilly back to here.
Oh wow.
It's yeah, it'd be a really cool trip actually. What would it be? It'd be about 80 Ks, I think. Something
Yeah,
like that. But it's
probably,
totally
huh?
doable.
Wow, that must be something. If
But yeah, it's beautiful. It's turquoise water. It's really nice. It's kind of one of those holiday destinations that's tough to get to. You've either got to get a boat or you've got to get a helicopter to get there.
oh wow, okay.
So logistically, it's quite tough to get there, but I've never been. But from what I gather, it's stunning.
Can people who come over to UK can they rent stuff in your shop as well, or you just sell?
We do rental as well. Yeah. So you can get out. It's always difficult around here. I used to do a lot of rental when I had my school on the south coast because conditions were mellow. But you know, here on the west coast where it's pretty tough,
You need
there's that
insurance.
risk. Yeah, it's the risk of it getting damaged, right? And so the answer is yes, but not always. You know,
Okay.
if you're pumping swell or if you're an intermediate rider, if you're a beginner and you're going to a lagoon, that's cool. You know, if you're intermediate and you're stretching yourself into a big pumping surf,
Yeah.
maybe you should do it on your own kit.
All right, so because
I
I was
like to be
thinking,
a yes man, but I've also got to, you know, not trash my kit.
yeah, I get that. I get that. Listen, when I talked to Josh, he said that when he visited you with Code, that was amazing. It was super cold, but the images that he made, the little video that he put up, was super cool. How was that for you? That session?
That was cool. Yeah, it's really cool. It's good to get those guys over here and come over. And we were just scored, like we scored conditions. It was so lucky. It was sunny and the water was just particularly clear at that time. It was
Incredible,
stunning.
yeah.
Normally the wind comes from the southwest here. And for whatever reason, when those guys came, it was just blowing from the northeast. And when it does that weather pattern, any kind of sediment in the water just gets pushed away and it turns crystal clear.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful,
It was
man.
cool, and those guys are such cool guys, you know. They're real. They just they've got these big brands, but they're just real people that love it.
Yeah, and so kind and helpful and interested because they dock started here for the first time, and you can see that like they were quite scared of like just throwing the board and jumping on it. But as soon as they were on foil, you saw, all right, these guys are good.
Yeah,
But
you
like
can
the
see that.
switch, yeah, but the switch from the start to the get going was really fun. Now you've finished that event. You're probably gonna gather some videos. Are you gonna make a big video out of that, or just some Insta reels, or how are you gonna work
Yeah, no,
with what
the
you
reason
have
I'm in
now?
an echoey room now is because my partner's in the office doing the edit right now. So that'll be out soon. We'll
Where
put
can
out
people
kind of an
find that?
edit. The what?
Well, where can people find that? Is it gonna be on your YouTube?
Yeah, it'll be on Poseidon Watersports YouTube. We'll put it on there.
All right.
And then over Instagram, we'll do kind of a lead into it, you know, so people can follow that link. So hopefully that will bounce around the circles. So we'll then link over to YouTube.
All right.
So, you know, and then so we've got so much footage. We're like sifting through it at the moment, but there's too much good clips. And so then what we'll do is, you know, all of the brands will get the content, and so they might then do their own edits. And then once the magazines and the brands have taken what they want of exclusivity, then we'll give everything to all of the riders that were there at the event. And so then
They
everyone
can
will do
do
their
it.
own edit with their own clips. Will
All
hopefully
right.
come on out.
We're gonna link that in the show notes here as well for next year. Because always when an event ends, the next one is ahead. What are your plans for next year? Is it gonna be the same thing? Do you have new ideas or things that worked particularly well that you want to continue with?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is this year it took a really long time to get the permissions that I needed to use the different spots, and now those contracts are made and conversations are done, I've already put in applications for next year, which have been approved. So instead of having 2 months to hype and bring it together, we've got a whole year ahead of us now. So it gives loads more time to get more people involved and get more plans in place. So it's same weekend next year, 30th of September through till the 4th of October.
Oh, it's already the dates are already here.
It's done. It's been approved by the councils and all of that. So that's in place. We're locked in. And now when the dust settles from this one, I just got to, I like to go back to the drawing board, look at the good and look at the bad, iron out the bad, solve those problems, look at the good, and then develop that more. Ultimately, the same again, that it's an event that the whole agenda of the event is to bring buzzing people together. Like that's what it is.
That is perfect.
And whether you're pro or whether you're a total beginner, like it's an atmosphere that you feel welcome at. That's the main thing. That's the point of the event.
And you said it's from the 30th of September to the 4th of October.
Yeah. So the reason it's that weekend is being chatting to the guys at Crozon and looking at Saint-Tropez, so that we're trying to make sure we don't clash with each other, so that we're all sort of similar events. And so that people feel that they could, especially if they're traveling in from the States or Oz, there's a block of 3 weeks, which is actually, maybe I'll come to Europe for that whole period of time.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And so we'd be first in that line after the summertime of Europe. We come up first, and then Saint-Tropez, then Crozon afterwards.
Very nice, very nice. So you heard Chris, everyone. Check your calendars. 30th of September to the 4th of October 2026. Still a long way ahead, but still you got a plan already. And as you said, you've already have all the things needed to organize that. That's so cool. Is there going to be winging again and proning, or is the pairwing also going to be part of an idea?
Yeah, well, we did it mainly. I really wanted to add downwind racing into it. I feel the UK is behind with downwind racing this year. And so we tried to add it in this year. Insurance was tough, so we basically ran it as an invitational. But the reason UK is behind, and as we found this event, is that we just don't get the conditions to run good downwind events.
Okay.
So we actually cancelled the downwind event mid-event on the race, and we ran a parawing event this competition.
Oh, really? How did
So
that
we
go?
ran just off the cuff. We did it, put together a format. We bounced between the riders, came up with an idea, and it was super fun.
Can
It
you
was
tell us
more
about it?
sophisticated. Yeah, so we basically did an upwind, downwind, set a box, and so riders started downwind. A sequence starts. They shot through a start line, did an upwind leg, and then as they come upwind, had to enter through a gate for the downwind run and stash their power wing before they entered the gate, and then do a
Very nice.
downwind. And so it's just one lap, but an upwind leg and then a pumping downwind leg, and it was super fun. Like everyone was buzzing for that type of event. That format was cool.
That sounds amazing. A redeploy would be interesting as well, because then you have to take care how you stash your pairwing.
So that was the conversation amongst the riders. Like, do you need to redeploy? And I think that brings a certain element of luck as well as new skills, right?
That's true. That's true. That is amazing. How long were those legs? How long was the whole pairwing race? I'm interested.
About from start to finish, they probably took about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, short one then.
Yeah, so I mean, like ultimately we had to cancel the downwind race because it just wasn't working.
All
So
right,
we got together as a group of passionate riders, and I pitched an idea, and then we bounced off the guys. He said, like, should we try this? It's like, parawing is new. Let's come up with a format together. No one's done it, and it worked. And we all got to the end, and we were like, yeah, there's mileage in this. This can happen.
Very
So
nice.
I think going forwards, the route we took was super simple. Anyone could do that anywhere, just like a simple box and an upwind, and your start line's also your finish line, and you just need a gate at the top. But I think if you were to grow it as a concept, you'd maybe put a few more corners in, and you'd do more of a course that led into the different sections.
Oh, that sounds super cool, and I'm excited for these images. How many people did the pairwing race?
Conditions went really bad. So I think we had nearly 10 that were keen to do it, and then we hit the water and the wind dropped off.
Okay.
So in the end, it was only 4 or 5 guys that were actually doing laps.
But still, so much fun. But you
It
weren't
was
able to
cool.
do that.
No, I mean, first time we were doing it, I was the one that was running the timer and the flags.
All right, all right.
So that
Yeah, that's that.
I went out afterwards. I did some laps with the boys, but I made sure that the boys could actually have some races.
Oh, that really sounds amazing. I'm excited for that footage because that's brand new. That's unseen so far.
Yeah. Oh, we got some cool footage. That will all come out. The whole thing. But then you always got to be careful as well. Like our surf comp and our wing comp, pretty legit, and we've got judges and all of that. And we threw that together as a concept. And yeah, we did a podium at the end of it, and yeah, we had a laugh about it, but it was thrown together and off the cuff. Maybe next year we will do a proper legit race. With making sure we got the right marshals in the right place.
There was also another trophy that was handed out by probably Liam and Freddie. Do
The
you know
Wang
about
Lords
that?
Trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny.
Who won that? Who came up with that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean that was their thing. Like with the first year when the whole event was coming together, they came up with that idea. It was Rich, Liam, and Freddie. I mean, those boys. You listen to them. They always like to put light on, make seriousness turn light. And the whole point of that trophy is to bring things down to earth and remember why we do this in the first place. So the first year, as we're giving out awards to the best person here, best person there, they handed it to someone that had a disaster in the local public toilets. I don't know if you've heard the story. It's floating around, a disaster story. Look it up. Ollie, a local guy here, had a bit of a disaster. I can't remember the name. There's some Aussie guys that do a podcast, and Ollie told the story on it. You'll be able to find it.
Okay.
Then last year they gave it to Ellie, who was the gold medalist, and she just for being a legend, but to bring her down to earth. And
Very nice.
and this year they gave it to a local guy, Will Haslam, who was a real standout rider, and he kind of come out of nowhere. He's picked up some sponsorship and really was turning heads at how good he was shredding in wing and prone. And I mean, and he's like this cool guy who, as we're doing our power wing racing, he doesn't power wing, but he was desperate to get involved. And we were like, look, you can't. The whole point is we go up and we stash on the way down. And he basically said, all right, well, I'll go up and I'll do a wing deflate on the way back down. He won one of the races, like shits and giggles. He jumped in on the start line and he went around. And obviously, he can't take the win because he used a wing. It goes at wind better. But he literally deflated his wing as he came through the gate and humped across the finish line with a deflated wing.
Very nice.
He's that character. He's a cool guy. He's always up for a laugh.
That
And he
sounds legendary.
basically, he paddled out into the finals, elite men prone finals, and literally first attempt in getting in on the wave, he screwed it up. I don't know what crash happened, but he basically ended up with the foil slicing across his arse cheeks
Oh.
and sliced his wetsuit clean across the arse cheek, so it drops down. And it couldn't have been cut better, right? So I got video
Wow.
footage of how this flap just hangs down and you've got this arse crack in his two cheeks.
Very nice.
But he's in the elite prone final, and literally everyone turns to him and is like, well, crack on, mate. You're hitting that. And so he just, and there's loads of clips of him, and he paddles, he pops up, he pulls his rash vest down for dignity, pumps out, connects.
All right, that's gonna be good footage. It's great to have that story. Really.
Yeah, and I
Thank
mean
you so
Freddie,
much.
Liam, and Rich, those guys always decide it. My head's in the other parts of the event, and those boys kind of quietly decided that was worthy. That's the one.
Yeah, I would say so. It really sounds like it.
That is cool, and it's so cool to have those guys involved because sometimes an event can get serious and like rightly so to a certain extent, but to have those boys bringing it back down to earth and a constant reminder that it's about having fun. It's cool.
It is. In the end, at the end of the day, it is. You can go to the Olympics, but what do you do after? So it's just how you live your life. Doesn't matter how good you are.
We risked upset this year by we risked upset by in the competition. We decided to throw completely out there that the is one of the an idea that one of our crew came up with, which is that the winner of the amateur competition would get a wildcard entry into the pros final.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was, really could throw the cat amongst the pigeons because, if an amateur's just jumped the whole thing and jumped straight up to the final and then they win, it could cause quite a lot of upset. And we won't do it again last year because it was a surprise, it was secret, and it was a one-off thing. But for me, the whole event is about trying to mix people and have fun, and that kind of cherry for the top of the amateurs to be able to get thrown into the pros it kind of created a buzz that was really cool.
So who won the amateur?
Oh, you put me on the spot. So it was in the wing, Tom Winterton,
Okay.
who was a British guy, absolutely shredding out there. And on the prone, oh, you've put me on the spot, and I'm going to look it up.
Sorry. You can maybe just tell us how they did it. Was the difference big between the pros and the amateur?
You know what? This is going to sound really crazy, but when we're running the event, we've all got. I'm trying to look it up who it is, and I'm going to look up because I feel bad for not knowing. Because Ed Jones, of course it is, local boy. My partner's just said, and he absolutely owned it and deserved it. He's a local guy, Ed. When you're running the event, I mean, we've all got our role, whether it's the judges or whether it's the person on the flags. But kind of my main role with the event is to solve problems as they present themselves. Make sure everyone is happy in their role. When there's so much going on, somebody's radio breaks or somebody needs some food or the jet ski has a problem. There's always something that's happening. And so, realistically, I'm bouncing the whole time. And I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the action. And so I couldn't tell you a huge amount. I get to every now and then stop and pause and look around and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Everyone's shredding. And then I can live it to the footage afterwards.
Okay. Well, that's part of the deal if you organize such a thing. I get that. But as you could also go out and like take part in the competition, that's already something, I would say. So that's good organization and good preparation as well. People were
it's the team, as well, to an extent. And then the fact I had some really good guys, some, at that moment where it started to present, it was really smooth. Freddie was running the beach with from the Generic Foiling podcast with a bit of a local legend, Dino, who is just a problem solver in himself. Along with Vega from Apple Tree, who was around and, he was getting involved, and along with other members of the team as well. But those boys just stepped up and they were like, yeah, we've got this. Just crack on. I was so lucky to have them and the rest of the team to do it.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, man. Chris, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Is there anything else that you want to absolutely share with people, with listeners, viewers?
No, man, just come along. Next year, it's like a more the merrier. We had a accommodation package set up where it was only like 200-ish, 250 euros, something like that to stay for the week.
Oh, wow.
And I'll try and make it even easier next year with ways of flying in, traveling around in here. So yeah, come get involved. I'll be working on it, trying to scale it up to make it better for the elite guys, but also more inclusive for the AM guys. So more the merrier. And anybody wants any info or any information about it, just give me a shout.
Let's do that.
I'm all ears. I'm a people person. So if if you're in the UK and you're listening and you want info and gear or whatever, just give me a shout. I'm always on the phone.
All right. It's at Poseidon Watersports UK on Instagram. And that's where we connected as well. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for taking your time. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to these videos, man. Really cool. And I'm trying to arrange for next year to show up in the UK. Thank you so much, man.
Well, thank you for this up. Cheers for inviting us on. It's an honor.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.